To start off our circles and swings routine, we have the hip mobility. So what we want to do here is keep our knees and upper body as stable as possible and really concentrate on tilting our pelvis back and forth whilst at the same time rotating our hips around in circles. As much movement as possible through that hip area, constantly tilting the hips back and forth and moving that hips like a belly dancer, 10 each way. Next we move on to the knees. So with a nice flat back and hands on the knees, right, we're going to try and get as big a circles as possible around those knees. 10 one way and then 10 the other. Really looking to try and maximize our range of motion. Make sure you go both ways and make sure you really do work that range of motion. Now we're going to stand shoulder width apart. Same setup where the hands will be on the knees, back will be flat. This time you bring your knees in, then you do like a half semicircle and rotate them out and push them straight at the back. So they go in, they go out in a little semicircle and then they straighten. Just really working the full range of motion once again, and 10 repetitions from in to out and then 10 repetitions from out to in. Very important to keep that back flat. Don't want your back round and take the pressure on your back. Right? And really straighten those legs. When you push them back, straighten those legs so you feel the hamstring stretch as well. Next up, we're going to take a nice wide stance, hands on the hips. And just like you've seen for many years now, seeing people do warm-ups, we're going back to old school and we're going to get some full rotation, taking the hips sideways, forward flexion, side flexion, back flexion, really trying to get as full a range of motion without moving your legs, keeping them pretty straight, keeping your hips pretty stable, and really just trying to rotate from that lower back region and get that body and lower back muscles and outer hip muscles just mobilized and warmed up. As I said, it's as old school as it gets, but sometimes old things become new again. And this is a nice good one. Try and keep your head up as much as you can as well, because you do have a tendency to get a bit dizzy. And once again, 10 repetitions each way. Now we're going to concentrate on the upper body a little bit. Put your hands on your shoulders and bring your elbows together, bring them up as high as you can, and then rotate them out in a real wide circle, squeezing your shoulder blades as you go back. So bring them in, raise them up, and take them back and squeeze those shoulder blades, trying to open up that chest as much as possible. You can go fast, you can go slow. And once again, 10 repetitions each way. As you can see, I'm squeezing those back muscles as I go back, keeping those hands in touch with the shoulders so you really get true shoulder rotation. Now you may not consider neck strength work flexibility, but it is a good way to keep that neck mobile. So hand on the front of the forehead and resist it for 10 seconds, pushing forward into it, then hands behind, trying to keep your head and neck nice and aligned in posture, just pushing back for 10 seconds. You don't have to push too hard, just a little bit of resistance to get that neck, remembering how to keep strong and keep mobile. And then from the side, keeping their head once again facing directly up and down, not tilting to the side. 10 seconds of reasonably strong resisted work. It's isometric, so it's not moving anywhere, just 10 seconds of constant work. And now we're going to drop the ear onto the shoulder, roll around the front and over to the other shoulder, and then go the other way. So ear to the shoulder, roll your chin down across your chest to the other shoulder, back to neutral, and then reverse it. Not a good idea to go all the way around and to the back of the neck. Sometimes creates a bit of pressure on that cervical spine, which we don't need. Okay, next one is the I Dream of Genie stretch. So put your elbows together like so. And we're really just going to concentrate on taking those shoulder blades apart and protruding them forward, and then really squeezing them back and retracting those shoulder blades. Trying to keep your head and neck exactly where it is. So it's all coming from that shoulder girdle where it protrudes out and then retracts back. Just trying to get some range of motion in that area. Okay, so that finishes our basic circles routine. Now we're going to go to swings. You're going to grab something nice and solid. I'm grabbing the bike here. You can grab the wall, but something you can hold on to is great. One leg is straight, the hips are straight, and I'm going to swing that leg in a dynamic motion where I'm really going to try and stretch my hamstring. You'll see there, I'm keeping my hips really stable, body stable. I'm not tilting back and forth, taking that hamstring through a full range of motion. And you slowly increase the range of motion as you go through. 10 swings each side, really working into that and stretching a little bit more. Obviously don't go too hard, but you do want a bit of dynamic force. Now we're going to face the wall or face the bike as I am and lean a little bit into it. Knees are soft. We're going to swing across like in a ballet swing. So we go across the body, stretching the hips, and then open it up, stretching the inner groin and really trying to point the toe. Stretch across the body. Once again, very important, keep the hips and body really still and let the mobility come from the hips and the groin as it opens and swings across you. Try and let it swing. You'll want to feel like it's a muscular action, but let it swing. Let it be a free-flowing movement. You'll need some work on that one. Now we've got some fire hydrants, right? Hip openers. You bring your knee up, you swing it out as far as you can, and then you twist it around behind you, like in a donkey kick motion, right? And you're really just trying to work that hip bone in that ball and socket joint as much as possible. Get as much height, as much rotation, and really keeping that hip joint nice and mobile, flushing it with synovial fluid and opening it up. Really key one here is to get these rotations. Take it up, take it out, twist it around, and keep moving that hip through range of motion. Gets all static and tight in there when we don't use it. The hip opener is a good one. Now, a very underrated part of our mobility and flexibility is keeping our ankles and our feet mobile. Some say this may be the most important. So I'm dragging my foot forward, so putting the pressure on the front of my shin and the front of my foot, and applying pressure down and doing nice firm circles, 10 one way and 10 the other way. So drag that foot forward, have good contact with the ground. 10 circles, one way will be much easier than the other. Make sure you're getting both ways 10 times, taking that foot and ankle through as full a range of motion as you can. Apply a bit of pressure to this one. The ankles need a lot of continual mobility. Okay, now we're into the finishing part. We're going to a yoga squat. So we're going to squat straight down to a sumo squat, hands on the ground, bum goes up, stretch the hamstrings, bum goes down into a deep squat. We're going to fall forward, walk out onto our hands, do a push-up, walk it back, go into a nice deep squat, one arm up, come up, 2 swings backwards, 2 swings forward, and we're going to do 3 of these. Yoga squat, go down, hamstring stretch, now bum goes down, walk it out into a push-up position, really warms up the upper body, walk it back, take it down that deep squat, 1 arm at a time, come up, swing those arms forward and back a couple of times, bum up, bum down, walk it out, drop it down, walk it back into a nice deep squat, up you get, and you are ready and willing to get into your workout. Enjoy.